If you want to understand why most people today feel anxious, powerless, and constantly at war with life, you don't need a new self-help trend or another motivational quote. You need to understand one man who lived nearly 2,000 years ago. A man who owned nothing, had no status, no security, no comfort, and yet was freer than almost anyone alive today. His name was Epictetus, and his philosophy is not comforting, it is confronting. And that is exactly why it works. Epictetus was born a slave. His body was owned. His future was uncertain. His safety depended on the moods of others. Yet he taught something that modern society desperately avoids hearing. Freedom has nothing to do with external conditions. Freedom is a function of the mind. And if your mind is weak, no amount of success will save you. But if your mind is strong, no amount of chaos can destroy you. The foundation of Epictetus's philosophy begins with a brutal distinction that most people refuse to accept. Some things are within your control, and some things are not. This sounds simple, almost obvious, but almost no one lives as if it were true. People spend their lives emotionally invested in things they cannot command: the opinions of others, the behavior of partners, the outcome of efforts, the speed of success, the fairness of life. And then they wonder why they feel constantly frustrated, anxious, and exhausted. Epictetus would say, this is not bad luck. It is ignorance. You are suffering not because life is cruel, but because you are demanding control where none exists. Your thoughts, your judgments, your intentions, your effort, these belong to you. Everything else does not. And the moment you confuse these categories, you hand your peace over to forces that will never obey you. Look at modern life. Someone posts content online and waits for validation. Likes don't come fast enough. The algorithm changes. Suddenly, self-worth collapses. Epictetus would say, you attached your identity to something external. You turned approval into oxygen, and now you are suffocating. The problem is not the platform. The problem is the belief that your value lives outside of your own character. Epictetus teaches that events themselves are neutral. They carry no emotional weight until your judgment assigns it. Losing a job is not inherently humiliating. Being rejected is not inherently devastating. Being criticized is not inherently destructive. These things become painful only when your sense of self depends on outcomes rather than integrity. Two people experience the same failure. One becomes bitter, the other becomes sharper. Same event, different philosophy. This is why Epictetus insisted that philosophy is not something you read. It is something you practice under pressure. Life is the gym. Every inconvenience, delay, insult, or loss is a weight placed on your mind. Most people collapse under it and blame the weight. Epictetus teaches you to strengthen the mind instead. In relationships, this wisdom becomes painfully relevant. People suffer not because they love, but because they try to possess. They want guarantees, control, certainty. They want another human being to behave in a way that protects their emotional comfort. And when that inevitably fails, resentment appears. Epictetus would say, you tried to own what was never yours. Another person's choices are not under your command. Love deeply, but understand that attachment to outcomes is the root of emotional slavery. This does not make you cold, it makes you stable. You stop fearing loss because your peace is not dependent on permanence. You stop manipulating because you no longer need control. You show up fully, honestly, and courageously, without begging life to cooperate. At work, Epictetus's philosophy is even more dangerous. He would say, do your duty with excellence, but never confuse effort with entitlement. You can control preparation, discipline, integrity. You cannot control promotions, recognition, or timing. When your happiness depends on rewards rather than values, you become anxious, resentful, and easily broken. But when your satisfaction comes from acting well, no outcome can humiliate you. Modern burnout is not caused by hard work. It is caused by emotional attachment to results. People exhaust themselves trying to guarantee success in an uncertain world. Epictetus would say, "Act without clinging. Give everything you have, then release the outcome. That is not indifference. That is mastery." One of Epictetus's most misunderstood teachings is his approach to desire. He did not say, eliminate desire. He said, discipline it. Desire without reason turns you into a servant of impulses. You chase comfort, approval, pleasure, distraction, and call it freedom. Epictetus would say, this is the most subtle form of slavery. True freedom is wanting only what aligns with your values and accepting everything else without inner collapse. This is why he encouraged voluntary discomfort, not suffering for its own sake, but training the mind to realize it does not need constant comfort to survive. In modern life, this means resisting endless stimulation, not panicking in silence, not escaping boredom instantly. When you prove to yourself that you can endure discomfort, fear loses its leverage over you. And then there is death. Epictetus spoke of it often, not morbidly, but clearly. You will die. Everyone you love will die. Everything you build will pass. This is not meant to depress you. It is meant to awaken you. When you truly accept impermanence, you stop wasting energy on trivial anxieties. You stop postponing courage. You stop living as if time were infinite. Epictetus believed that every day you wake up, you are stepping into a test. Not a test of success, but of character. Will you react or respond? Will you blame or take responsibility? Will you demand comfort or choose strength? And over time, these choices shape not just your mood, but your entire destiny. He did not promise an easy life. He promised a powerful mind. And in a world addicted to control, comfort, and validation, that might be the rarest form of freedom left. So ask yourself honestly, where have you been giving power to things you cannot control? Where have you been outsourcing your peace to outcomes, people, or approval? And what would your life look like if you reclaimed authority over your judgments, your values, and your actions? If you're ready to stop being controlled by the chaos of the world and start mastering the only thing that truly belongs to you, your mind, then you are exactly where you need to be. Subscribe to Stoic Gateway for deep Stoic wisdom, mental strength, and timeless philosophy applied to modern life. And if you want to continue this journey, watch the next video, where we break down another Stoic teaching that will completely change how you see fear, control, and inner power.